What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about MicroStrategy today, MSTR. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. Here we are, sitting at about $335, man. This thing just keeps moving up. You know what I will think, what I think I'll start to do is I think I'm going to start to take Bitcoin out of the equation whenever analyzing MicroStrategy, because here's the deal, man. Though it did find its low at the same time as Bitcoin, it topped off before Bitcoin here. I think it found its low before Bitcoin as well. I don't believe that MicroStrategy is going lower, and it just seems to keep going up, right? It's broken out of this downtrend, or has it broken out of this downtrend? Let's properly define. Yes, you have broken out of this downtrend. You probably do pull back at some point. You probably do, and you find support here. You know, I do anticipate that Bitcoin will drop as well, probably down to about 70K, 72K, somewhere in that zone, and that will probably cascade a sell-off for MicroStrategy. It wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't surprise me at all if we return back down to these low areas, something around like 230, maybe even 260, something like that. You do have a gap, a nice little lovely gap right there at about 270. So something in that zone could be anticipated. That would be a little bit bigger of a drop than what I'm expecting for Bitcoin too. So that's fine. From a low to a high here, your golden ratio zone is right there at 270, filling that gap to 261, right? Actually, 261 would actually fill the gap completely, to be completely fair. But something in that 270 to 260 area is where I think you're going to go. Could you go lower? Absolutely. If you go lower, don't worry about it. Will you go lower than this low? I don't think it's appropriate to consider that, right? Or hold on. Maybe it's appropriate to consider, but it's not appropriate to heavily consider, right? It's not a likelihood, it's a possibility, right? But I think likely no. You found your low. You're probably not going below that low. But a quick little phase of consolidation down, or a little drop back down whenever and around the time that I think Bitcoin's going to drop as well, might happen. In all fairness, I said that I wasn't going to talk about Bitcoin, but let's talk about it real quick. If Bitcoin does move down a lot over the weekend, like if it moves down on Friday, and then by the beginning of Monday, by the stock week commensation, the beginning of the stock week there on that Monday, if Bitcoin has moved up a little bit, MicroStrategy and Bitcoin affiliated, crypto affiliated stocks might not get the full brunt of this drop that's to come. So if it happens over the weekend, that's actually preferred for stocks like this, and that could throw off the overall anticipation of how low it goes. But as of now, I think it is important to consider prices that are below 300. I very much do believe we'll see that. Something below 270, maybe even as high or as low as 260 could be on the table, and I think that's a very strong possibility. 335 now. You are, after all, even though you are breaking out of this trend, you are at a lower high in this trend still. You have a little bit of work to do before you really start to show your colors from a high to a low. They're going to be very green colors. You've gone above the 382. It's very, very common whenever getting your first bounce. Actually, oh, look at that. It's your second bounce, actually. 382 down and then up above the 382. It's very common when you get above the 382 to sometimes, either consolidate around this area, but that would keep you up above any targets that we have in mind, so I don't think so, or pull back to your 236, which takes you to about 283, which could happen as well. I could see that happening, or maybe even you wick below it, pull back up, something like that. Whatever happens, I would assume that the low itself, this next low, it's going to be very short-lived. It's not going to be a very long-lived experience. You'll be down there for a day, maybe an hour, maybe less than a week, but nothing too crazy, right? It's not going to be a long-lived. This has been a long-lived experience. These were long-lived experiences at the low. I don't think this next low is going to be a long-lived experience, right? And if I had to guess what I think the lowest you could go would be, probably here at the 069, which is at about $246, but I don't think you go down there. I really do think 260 holds as support. If we're looking at this on a daily RSI perspective, you have broken out of your daily downtrend. In the RSI, you've definitely broken out, and you're tearing through. I think this is a good foreshadowing of the things to come for Bitcoin and the rest of crypto by default there. I think it really is a foreshadowing of the good things to come. But just because you've broken out doesn't mean you have to rip through the roof right now. And yes, you've been moving up a little bit. It's nice, but I do assume a little pullback is going to happen here. If we're looking at this on a 3-hour time frame, 3-hour time frame there. hold on, guys. I'm sorry. It's just bad in the mornings, man. 3-hour time frame here. We're looking at this. Put a line right where we are. Resistance here, resistance just below there, resistance there, just above it, right there, just above it. Do we find resistance at this line perfectly every time? No, but something around this zone, maybe even a little bit higher. So if we were to move up a little bit more, if we were to move up a little bit more, that's fine. We could do it this week. We're at 50 minutes left in this 3-hour time frame, and we are on Tuesday right now, so we've got plenty of time left in this week. I don't expect anything miraculous to happen this week. I actually think that starting on Friday, or even after, it could be Friday, but I think between Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, somewhere in that time frame, that's when we'll begin to move down. Until then, I think we're just going to move sideways or be volatile. We'll move up, we'll move down, we'll move up, we'll move, any move down, we'll get moved up, any move up, we'll get moved down on throughout the week for Bitcoin and probably for MicroStrategy too. Though if Bitcoin's consolidating and being boring, I could see MicroStrategy continuing to grow. So it could happen that it grows a little bit. And with the 3-hour time frame here, that's also a possibility. High to low here, 350 would be the next target. So we're at 336 now. Maybe you complete the thought. You go up to 350. You find resistance here where you found resistance before, and some support here, some support there. It could happen. I could see that happening. Could you go all the way up to 392? Sure, but I doubt it. I don't think that you move up there by the end of this week. But if it happens, hey, cool. If you do that, you guys understand your target areas for the drop. They might change a little bit. They might be at higher prices, but I still think 260 at the lowest is a good consideration to have. But maybe we do stop at 280. Maybe we stop, who knows? But ultimately, whenever it is time for you to move higher, hold on. My goodness, man. Whenever it is time for you to move higher, we're going to see dramatically new highs, I think. You're at 337 now. I think you will 3x this price and beyond. From a high to a low here, you stopped at your 1618 here. You stopped at your 1272. Very classic behavior when working your way up to the next fib zones, man. You're going to go, if I didn't know any better, I would say that you're going to go all the way up to here and through it, right? And I do think that you are going to go through it. I don't know why I said I didn't know any better, man. I don't know. If I'm thinking logically is maybe a better way to put this. Consolidating like this in this range here, I would consider that you go up to about $1,000 to $1,300, something in this range. That box just glitched out on me hard, but $1,300 to $1,000 is the expectation, and we have a lot of reasons to believe that, right? Your measured move here, if this is a bull flag, and I think that it is a bull flag, we take it from the low to the high here of the bull flag, not of the consolidation low, but of the bull flag. Low to high, we're convinced this is the low, so you don't go lower. That puts you right smack dab in the middle there at about $1,100. So 994, 1,289, somewhere in that target zone to me makes a lot of sense. With a bull flag, with the measure move, it's an idea. You don't have to hit it. You can fall short of it. You can exceed it. You could stop pinpoint accurate right at it. Whatever. Who cares? However it happens, you're going to go somewhere in this zone. If not, I would think that you only go higher, but I doubt that you do. It is possible. It is possible you could go to $1,700. We have reasons to believe that as well. But in all honesty, I think that those are targets that are reserved for a later date. I think that 994 to 1300 is coming. I do think that that's coming, but I just think that any higher than that is harder for me to imagine at this point. But it's not too hard to imagine. I accept it as a possibility. But based off of this fib, which you've been respecting very well throughout your basically like your whole move up here, it would not be in the cards, in my opinion, to break above this zone on your next move up. You probably stop here, find some turbulence there, right? It might not be a wicking high like this. It might be like a consolidation phase kind of like this, and then you pull back to your 1618, find support at your prior areas of resistance there, and then continue to run up. Something like that's probably what's going to happen. But I very much believe MicroStrategy is on a path higher. It's just first you're probably going to come back down if you're looking to get in or hop on this party barge before it does see prices above $1,000. I think that you're going to have that opportunity. Maybe not by the end of this week, but by sometime next week. I think early next week, middle next week, we'll have some resolution to the downside, and then from there we'll start to grow. We will start to grow to $1,000 and show to 1,300, something like that. Yeah, does that all make sense? If we're looking at the weekly RSI here, nope, that's not what I meant to do. Weekly RSI. Come on, man. Bouncing off the 40. You bounced off the 40 before. You've bounced in this area before, right? Bounced off it over here. Somewhat significant area. The last time that you bounced off the 40, that's what sent you up here. We're bouncing off it now, getting some decent reactions. Had a lot of volume here, but we didn't go anywhere. We just chilled. Weekly time frame looks good. Daily time frame looks good. Even the 3-hour looks good. Like it all looks good. Let alone the monthly. Monthly looks phenomenal. What about the double top? What about the bearish divergence? What about it? We had the move down. What are you talking about? What about it? I don't think that's bearish divergence at all. Actually, I think these highs. And here's how I'll prove it to you. Right? If this kept going up, and it didn't stop here, if we didn't stop in this zone, if it kept going up, we had a lower high here, that would have been bearish divergence. But what? Because it's not here, because it didn't go up, it's not bear. It wouldn't have. No, that doesn't make any sense. You can't say this would have been bearish divergence here if it went up, and then now that it didn't, that this is bearish divergence. You're disregarding these highs entirely. I don't think it's bearish divergence. I think that it is a double top of sorts, and we reject it down. But I don't think that we have to go all the way down here. We've got lower lows in the RSI, higher lows in the price. It's bullish on the monthly time frame. Hidden bullish divergence is what that is. Stuff like this is meant to trick people who are new to technical analysis, right? Who don't understand as much. And that the reason I say that is because when I was new and I didn't understand that, it tricked me all the time. You look for these divergences, but you don't look for the hidden divergences, and that's why they're called hidden divergences. But yeah, we're gonna continue moving up, guys. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. I've got nothing else for you. I hope you liked the video. And when I say we're going to continue moving up, I mean like on a weekly and monthly basis. It wouldn't surprise me at all if we saw prices at like 260 at the lowest, 280, maybe at the highest of the low, somewhere in that area before we begin to ascend to new highs, okay? But that's the expectation. Hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.